Greetings everyone, please come on and make sure everything's set on up. Looks like that is booting on up. Can move and activate live chat windows. Everything's online. Give me another one, check my other computer. And looks like everything's good to go. So, let's go and get started. That looks like that game ended. Refresh button. Where are you? Oh, can't hit it for some odd reason. Refresh. Let's see. Remember correctly, this one's roughly the same rated. No. Here we go. We'll do this one here. Oops. I think I double click on the correct one. Yes, perfect. Open up drink. Greetings everyone, and Great here of another Age Mythology replay. Small on top left side as a blue Hades, we got Yesin.B. Small on bottom right side as the red Freyr, we got SS_Dark Phoenix. So somebody from the Secret Service. Or from Social Security. Well, at least not the IRS. Well, either way, when it comes to these major gods, of course, we got Hades, focus on ranged soldiers and buildings, get a chance for shades, increase unit hit points, ranged soldiers increase range, fortification increase range, and free blitz's burning pitch, while Freyr does focus on technology and defense. You get a powerful god of power upgrade here, but does get reduced per upgrade. Technology is 50% cheaper, but takes much longer to research. Hill forts and hill fort units get plus 10% damage, primarily the Huskarl and the battering ram and ballista. That's the only three. Building units repairs free, and gatherers and dwarves can repair. So, when it comes to the minor gods, Norse tend to go heavy in infantry because they don't have ranged units. They have ranged infantry, but no, just range. This was supposed to Godi. So, Toxays would be a good call, as well as Hypasis. Seems like a good call for Ares, in my opinion. I am a bit more biased towards Ares over Athena. You get not as great god power, Pestilence. You got decent myth unit, the Cyclops. Phobos Spear Panic gives your hoplites and Prodromos more divine damage to make your counter unit a bit more effective. High passes enable early and get them increased damage, which does get countered by throwing axemen, which does high passes does counter them. Both horrors give your Toxays increased damage, very nice there. And a Cyclops upgrade versus Restoration in Minotaur. Restoration is an excellent god power. Minotaur is a decent myth unit that costs gold around the food nowadays. Gold addition was food, which does, I think they turned to gold, so it gives a counterpart because centaurs are wood, cyclopes are food, and now minotaur are gold. This can increase your range armor of your infantry, not very useful versus Norse. And of course, increase your hoplites, increase damage by 10%, and increase maximum range. While it is stronger than Spear of Phobos, but I think the two other upgrades make Ares a little bit better in this situation, but most players go for Athena. This map is hybrid, so we've got to keep an eye on the water upgrades. Freyr does give access to Freyja, the somewhat lackluster Forest Fire god power, but definitely got buffed from Gold Edition. Valkyrie, a decent myth unit that is is a mounted unit that can also heal. Thunder Hooves increase your cavalry and speed and hit points. And we got the early Godi increase hero hit points, which is nice. But Ola is usually the favorite for Freyr. You get the Asgardian Bastion, a Age 2 hill fort. Draugrs, which is an okay myth unit. I've never seen them that great. I think they're probably a bit more aligned on their upgrade here, since they have supposed to have piercing projectiles as an aspect. This increases the speed of your longhouse units, as well as reduce the costs of the Asgardian Bastion, which is pretty nice. And then early battering rams while making the hill forts work faster. Asgardian Bastion is pretty much the nice aspect, but if you want to go for cavalry, you probably need to go for Freyja. going to fast forward to the economic phase. Plus, we've got a bunch of fishing boats now being pulled in the field. Temple here. We do have now Uller being selected. I actually don't know how you would actually pronounce that, because technically there's only one vowel, so it should have one syllable, but Uller is 2 syllables, so I have no idea how to pronounce that, honestly. We do have now Ajax and the Scout trying to stab the Ulfsark. Of course, both of them age 1. We do have Ares selected, very nice. Pestilence is not a great god power. It reduces the production speed of your opponent's production structures. Sounds powerful. In Gold Edition, it was much powerful since it completely stopped it. Or, like, reduced it by 99%. Now it's just for 50% reduction. It's not great. But it can be nice assisted attack. It's situationally okay. A lot of upgrades to do. Looks like a good number of Herseers, probably designed for favor generation among other things, as well as just the general builders. But I don't think anybody's going for super aggressive. Yeah, we've got also economic upgrades for both sides. So let's talk about the Age 3 upgrades. We got Bragi and Ager. Bragi gets access to an excellent god power flaming weapons. The Battle Boar is a decent crowd control myth unit. Let's see, Call of Valhalla, improve Ulfsark's hit points, give them favor generation upon, or get a favor grant or rebate upon death. Let's see, Long Serpent, bless your longboats, cause them to be bigger, which means their target size increase, right? Stronger and fight move when faster. Longboat efficiency damage through boat, so increases to 10% hit points, plus 1 projectile per TO. Efficiency 1, 50. 150, 300. I don't know what those numbers actually technically mean. That's probably efficiency required. I guess damage dealt is for that. Swan Array, increase your Erdman, increase melee damage, and bonus damage to cavalry. Makes your counter unit more effective being a counter unit. And this gives speed to myth units and favor or health regen, which I wonder if that affects the Titans, the health regen. And it got Age, more likely the god, mighty god to be selected. You get Tempest. Just Achilles trying to pick off the Draugr there. Draugr does go down. Achilles is likely going down. He does have 4.5 movement speed when snared, which is actually, which the other units could. Yeah, Ajax is going down. Okay, let's see the rest of the upgrades. You got Tempest, an excellent mid-range, mid-tier damage support god power. Rock Giants, an excellent frontline tank. Granite Maw, let's see, Feast of Renown gives you a little bit of food and health regen around your towns and hill forts. 9 waves improve your hero speed and siege weapon speed. And also, here's the more important part. Increase siege weapon damage by 20% as well as hero damage by 20%. Makes your Ballista a massable unit for an army. And you get 3 Krakens. And he has queued up Uller. Hades, of course, can go for Apollo or Aphrodite. You got the Underworld Passage, excellent god power. Manticore, excellent backline myth unit. Oracle, not very good god power. Emphasis makes your, I guess that's your aeroship. Deals trigger critical strikes, targets inflicts extra damage. Actually, not super sure about that. And don't really know the naval upgrades all too well. I'm going to be blunt. Sunray, increase range units damage, as well as giving them a bit of a alliance sight around the projectiles. In theory, that should also affect naval units as well as range units. I wonder if that affects naval units. And of course, healing ability. Aphrodite does give you Curse, which is an excellent mid-range god power to just remove certain units out of play. Neiman Lion, a good frontline crowd control unit. It's a cat, screams at your opponent's faces, like a cat usually does. You get a heroic ship. You get the Argo. Divine Blood improves your villager's carrying capacity, build speed, and move speed. Improves your villager's favor generation rate, and of course, improve Neiman Lion upgrade. Apollo is generally the better call, but Aphrodite has a good case if we have Apollo being selected. and being researched. We do now have the naval ships heading toward around the sea. Got some long boats here. Okay, so I guess it's the hammer ship that has that gets affected by the upgrade. I'm not sure. Hammer ship hitting the arrow ship. Arrow ships are good against hammer ships because they have lack of range armor. Hammer ships are good against siege ships who lack melee armor. And siege ships are good against arrow ships because they lack crush armor. So in this game, rather than doing bonus damage to certain ships, they just simply do a damage type that your opponent can't ignore as its triangle. Blue does lose his fleet there. He does age up, should get a free Skyla. A Sea Hydra. Got a number of dwarves and gatherers hitting this gold mine. And age up here as well. Both players are starting to get some forces in the field. Got triple town center for blue. Red only has the one town center. When it comes to age 4, there's an argument for both Hephaestus and Artemis for Hades. Earthquake's excellent god of power, so is Plentyvault. Chimera is a decent shock troop myth unit, good at dealing damage. Colossus is a tanky one. Let's see. Increase the range soldier damage by 10% and get a bit of poison, which is poison's not good. But 10% damage is nice. And increase your hero bonus damage for myth units. As opposed to the gives his unique crossbow and plus 20% damage. And of course make your armory text cost less. I say there's an argument for either. Most people don't really go for the unique crossbow. They're pretty nice against buildings. But the other upgrade does increase the your talk states as well as your peltas. So just getting picked off. Got a number of raiding cavalry. He needs to put those sentinels. Yep, sentinels being summoned. Sentinels are good anti-raiding god power. It's not good versus armies. Don't deploy against armies. Some more villagers being picked on off. We got 51 versus 34. However, this does not include fishing boats, which red appears to have more. Blue has a fleet pushing forward, a number of triremes and the Skyla. I'm going to use the Skyla as a frontline tank. Hammer ship here. This will give Skyla some extra hits to start generating some heads, and this is how you get head. Got a siege ship here, getting some good hits onto these ships. The Skyla now does both melee and crush damage, so it should be effective both versus the arrow ships and versus the siege ships. Hammer ships probably will be best bet dealing with it. Has lowest crush armor. Or your own myth unit. In this case, the Kraken. Right now, 54-18. Slow attack speed, so DPS is 15. This Skyla has 2 heads, so it does do 30. Both of these have 80% crush armor. Over here, Shades were summoned. Got a number of Herseers. We do have a number of throwing axe and Huskarls, but mostly Herseers, so Hypasus would generally be pretty good. Toxa's is pretty good as well. He does have some Hypasus here, though they're Dark Age Hypasus. Trying to build another long house here. Chimera and the Kraken now engaging each other. Got 3 heads on the Skyla. Skyla will take a bit of damage here. Going for the ships here, going for the instant kill. But we'll give the Skyla a lot of free hits in there. The Skyla, of course, does not have any health regen unless you go for Dionysus. Petrol bullets firing away. Got these units pushing forward, including the Cyclops. And the Manticore's there. And here comes a Tempest. Brings in more Sentinels here for fire support. This is more of an anti-raiding tool. It's not going to do great here. And looks like the Sentinel that would spawn over here did not get one field, got interrupted. So 2 of the Sentinels are firing away along with the Fortress. None of these units getting frozen by the Tempest. We do have now Granite Giants now blowing the field. Manticore is going to be pursued by this first years. Manticore is falling back. Good micro there. The Manticore is excellent, making to keep alive. But the Toxays focus down the Hearse here. The Huskar will slowly be picked off as well. Huskar is not being focused down, and the Manticore does get taunted. A number of units here. Toxays going to engage them. Our Achilles units get to the Granite Giants. We got Chiron here. Villager is going to shank the Granite Giant. Apparently the villagers make the anti-structure sound when shanking it. I like that. Because it's a large stone unit. Might as well let do the anti-structure sound. Nice little aspect there. Skyla here. Trireme slowly taking on the dock. Large number of Toxays, including some Petrol Bulls, some High Pastus. Raiding Cavalry is going to be overall a good choice in this situation. They won't counter the High Passes, but High Passes don't do any counter damage to the Raiding Cavalry. We do now have the Sword of Dread and Spear Phobos. Phobos can give you access to good Prodromos, giving British bonus damage, divine bonus damage on your Prodromos, making them excellent counter cavalry units there. A good idea to go for a number of them. And they should do reasonably well versus throwing axemen, say case with the High Passes, but in this case both inadequately counter each other. Looks like some Horkerborns starting to go on down there. I wonder if anyone gets that reference. Was that Machinima? Damn, I forgot about Machinima. I know when Machinima collapsed, they really screwed a lot of their content creators. But they had to do legal battles to get their rights for their own works. Like, when Machinima collapsed, they just refused to let the creators sort of take the works back, because it's not like it was going to be used anywhere. Lots of upgrades here, including Freyr's Gift. We do now have Hepatus now being queued on up. And actually being employed in the field. He has a decent amount of favor being generated, 12, so he's over the soft cap there. If he's able to get 300, that will be excellent to get out of Second Plenty Vault. I think the Second Plenty Vault is something that players should generally focus down. If people go for more, I do not blame them. When he kept being brought on back, there's a lot of good targets here for them. The heroes, Ajax and Achilles, taking out the Granite Giant. High Passes shanking some of the Perseers, and now some of the throwing Axemen. Raiding Cavalry managed to connect with the Toxays, but the Toxays in good enough numbers, they can do some serious damage to them. Yeah, looks like Hades doesn't need to go for some hoplites or Prodromos, the current rate amount of Raiding Cavalry on the field. He is going for a round of hoplites. He does have these medium hoplites opposed to Dark Age Prodromos. Blue's Assault will end, but he will age up in the meantime. Blue got some Shades as a constellation prize as well. They're not great, but they are free. Right now, those Shades are doing 8.4 DPS with the health of an infantry unit there. They're just basically free. Yeah, they're just free trash spawns. Hades is now aged up. As well, a Plenty Vault has a good amount of favor there and has more villagers on favor. May want to tone it down to 8. He's a bit over cap, but he does have a superior number of villagers, 100 versus 54, so he can pass a good number onto the favorite generation. This Colossus advanced before costs 5 Herseers in this region. I do believe the Colossus needs splash damage. And it only has single target damage. I think the Colossus could stand to get a bit of AoE damage, maybe through one of its upgrades, or maybe both upgrades increase a little bit of AoE damage. We got a large number of hoplites and build queue, as well as top states, going for heavy infantry and levy infantry. And we've also got now the sentinels firing away along with the fortress. I wonder what the upgrades are. It does have ballistics course for free. It'll help out when fighting against cavalry. No crenellations though. And Red's force will be cleaned on up. Blue's reinforcements came on in, and he had adequate defenses. He lost a couple villagers, but he can get those quickly streamed. He has only one villager queue going, looks like, at the moment. Villagers trying to repair up the town center. They could shank the battering ram. Ajax is going to be taking on the battering ram now. 10% hack armor, 90% range pierce armor. There's fortified town center going for the architects now. And now we do have some unique crossing being blown on the field. Very nice. And good number of these granite giants. You know, actually, Galen Bersetti now being blown on the field. It is classified as a divine hero, so it is not a myth unit. As I was trying to say as well, the Greeks can have trouble with anti-myth units, but nice thing about Hepatus, he does get can make your unique crossbow and get bonus damage versus myth units if he gets that researched well. Oh, and looks like Red does back the game now. It's Angry saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. Got one person viewing here. Are these players any highly rated? Pretty good. Let's see. Anything else I would suggest better? Usually the very long games of players who don't know how to attack each other. That's the lowest I've ever seen. Never seen the 300s yet before. Yeah, I don't see anything that would be better at the moment. Greetings everyone, and Great here with another Age Mythology replay. Small on bottom left side as a blue Amaterasu. We got 15. Small on top right side as the red Hades. We got Dawn. When it comes to the major gods, Amaterasu, focus on economy and samurais. You get a gold trigger per Bushido tier. I think it looks like one per Bushido tier. Samurai Onimushas get 3 more experience outside of combat. They usually get more experience inside of combat. She inverts that to a greater degree. Shrines course improves the quality of the resource content by 140%, which is very nice. You can get more gold from a single gold deposit given enough time. Samurai Onimusha gets more hit points for recovery in combat. Unique upgrade gives you a free Miko, and of course make your Mikos heal better. Do not treat Mikos like a hero to fight against myth units. They're primarily they're based on a heroic citizen who's only meant for favorite generation. They are not good in combat. When it comes to, of course, Hades. Hades is the rain swordsman building major god. You get a chance for shades. Myth units have increased hit points. Rain swordsman get +1 range. Range 4 gets +2 range, and free ballistics and burning pitch. When it comes to the minor major gods, since Hades is more focused on range units, so probably Amaterasu should focus on anti-range. You can bring in Ame no Uzame, which gives you to respawn your myth units for free, which is very nice. War Weasel, haven't seen them great. They're pretty slow. Increase your hit points by 10% and get them Bushido experience upon death. And of course, you get better Mikos, increasing their gathering rate, which is nice. Her biggest thing is her god power, though. Mina Katatomi, that's how you pronounce his name. He does provide a Shrine of Hunt. I actually don't think I've ever seen him selected yet in a replay. Shrine of Hunt gives you a shrine, or transform a shrine into a hut, periodically spawning huntable deer, as well as friendly defensive wolves. Not sure how effective those defensive wolves are. You got this demonic wheel thing, I have no idea. I've never seen him selected, so I have no idea about this myth unit. Villagers can gather 10% hunting rate, and that's clearly an Age Empires 3 icon, I believe. Ranged soldiers get increased damage by 10% and increase the maximum range by 10. So you can go for use ranged units to fight the ranged units. And reduce the cost of archers and siege units. Of course, Hades is the range god. And Amaterasu is, of course, more focused on, of course, the melee samurai. So anti-melee, such as the high passes, could be quite nice. So I think Ares would be better. Plus, not to mention buff of Taxes, who's also anti-melee. So I think Ares would be better call overall. He does provide the bit of weaker god power Pestilence, a decent frontline myth unit, the Cyclops. Spear of Phobos Spear of Panic makes your hoplites better. Your Prodromos even better, much greater. Early high passes increase damage, Toxics get increased damage, versus Athena, who acts as a restoration god power, and excellent god power, which is the primary reason why people go for Athena, in my opinion. The Minotaur, a decent frontline myth unit, I think inferior to the Cyclops though, in my opinion. Increased range armor, which could be nice if your opponent goes for Minamok, what was his name? And Hoplites increase range and hack damage. I am more biased towards Ares overall, but I think it does have some good aspects. We do have Athena being selected, and over here we do have Ame no Uzume. When it comes to relics, looks like Ajax may be trying to pick up the Anvil of Hepatus. Reduce the gold cost of armor attacks by 50%. Very nice. Always nice to have that. To be fair, it's almost nice to have every single relic. Dragon Palace Crystal, walls and hit points get increased hit points. That's okay. Nothing too significant. Usually something's alive or dead, never really in between. Hello, Cerberus. Myth units use their special attack more often, which is very nice for certain myth units, such as the Centaur, Cyclops, and Minotaur. And the last relic looks like it's picked on up, and it is Hermes Wing Sandals. Improve hero speeds by 5%. That's very nice to have. Particularly for the Mikos, who are very slow. They are identical to villagers, barring the fact they're heroes, and can only collect up favor. There's Norm the Minotaur. Achilles on the build queue as well. Looks like both we do have some Naginata riders being pulled in the field. Hoplites would be good counter to them. Let's see. There's the Whirlwind Norizal. Since it gets respawned for free, it is very expendable. Minotaur, Norm the Minotaur will win. Does use the Divine Shield there, and apparently he can still be knocked back with the Divine Shield. Good to know. Does get some health regen here, and Achilles and Ajax are going to be focused down. Going to just sack it to get the Minotaur. And the Minotaur does get saved. Oh yeah, it seems like Hades does get played a lot. I think because since he really buffs up Toxays are just a good generalist unit. +1 range does make them go a long way, or at least make their arrows go a longer way. We've got enough fresh Whirlwind Norizal. I don't really know how to pronounce a lot of this stuff. Tamagotchi. We've got one Kitsune here. Actually, no, there's two Kitsune here. And since Amaterasu does not have access to the Kitsune minor god, I forget what her name was, can only get one aura stack, though two Kitsune is always quite nice to have. At least get a backup. Does find a villager there. And there we go. Does take him out. Achilles pushing forward with a relic on his back. Tail of Cerberus. It's the tail of Cerberus, not the tail of Cerberus. Naginata riders engage in course Achilles. Achilles is a good combatant. Greek heroes, of course, smaller in numbers, but a much higher quality. Samurai being deployed in the field. Just getting a handful of them for the Bushido experience is probably pretty nice. See, it's generating... I think there may be 2 samurai in the field. I have a hard time telling. There's 2 samurai in the field. Right now they're providing 1 experience per second. And that one will be resummoned. There's nice thing about this, you could just constantly send attack waves of your various myth units, barring the Kitsune. They do not get resummoned here. It explicitly says it. Or maybe it did. It doesn't say it there. Huh. Maybe they changed it so now it does. I could have sworn it says explicitly says it does not. Maybe it got buffed, now it does. Guess we'll find out soon enough. Up here, we do have these forces advancing. Got a gate here. Does break through the gate there. Got dark. Nope, now we got medium hoplites now deployed in the field. One Kitsune or Kitsune does go down there. This one still can provide the aura benefits. Without the other minor gods upgrade to really increase the health of these the Kitsune, they don't last very long. We do have now the Sentinels deployed in the field. An excellent god power for Hades. Allows you to help protect yourself from these various raids. Another reason why probably Hades get played a lot. Because this minor god power is excellent to protect yourself from these raids. Northern Minotaur will be going on down. Got a samurai here. I always remind myself, samurai in this game are not anti-cavalry. I'm used to Age of Empires 3 samurai. There's a samurai in every single Age of Empires game, barring Age of Empires 2 right now. And every single one is drastically different. Does your Divine Shield on one of the samurai. It is a pretty cheap god power. Oh, the Kitsune does go down there. And none of the Kitsune do get recovered. So that is still the case. I could have sworn there's an explicit description saying they don't get recovered. It'd be a good idea to them to reinsert that so people don't get the false suppression. Readability is always important when it comes to these RTSs. Settlement being deployed in the field. One thing I wish they would add in is a little bit change description for example, infantry. Say melee infantry to make sure people are very certain not to get mixed up with ranged soldiers or ranged human soldiers. Because a lot of some Age of Empires game, infantry means anybody on foot. Some of them means melee infantry. 3 and 4, it's infantry. It means all infantry, foot soldiers. Well, of course, 2 and Mythology refers to melee infantry. I believe some of these terminology just need to be standardized across the Age of Empires game. And I think calling them melee infantry is probably best. As well as always little descriptions here of like, you can see here, cavalry, dot. Oh, Achilles getting shanked. Got a good number of samurai here. Samurai are 4 population, so I always have a hard time of figuring out how effective they will be. The 4 population, while most infantry, of course, are 2. So they're effectively a ×2 infantry unit there. Of course, samurai are also anti-infantry, has +50% damage multiplier versus infantry. The attack speed is a bit slow. Whirlwind wheels getting ripped apart by Ajax. We got, oh, I didn't see blue aging on up. Red is queued up with Aphrodite. Blue is gone for Raijin. got the two-tailed dog. Divine Shield on that dog. Samurai taking out the samurai over here. Toxic's just firing away. The Divine Shield almost gets destroyed by the units. By the heroes.
Έτοιμος.
And it looks like he does use a formation move to get this guy on out of there. Let's see, remind me again, Raiju. 220 gold, 20 favor, 3 population, so not too expensive. 24 melee damage, times multiplier for infantry, standard attack speed, so decent combatant, decent health. Stuns enemies with electrical attacks, so they're just a frontline brawler with some crowd control elements. I got some walls going up here. And we've got stone walls. At least the walls identify as stone. Some shades there. Number of Toxdays. Aphrodite's queued on up. Raijin. Here we go. Thunderous Burst gives a bit multiple knockbacks. Let's see. Reduce the cost of Vulcan God Powers, more God Powers. Infantry gets lifesteal, very nice. More hit points here, more hit points here. So plus 25% hit points potentially for this player's current build with a bit of lifesteal and some ship stuff. So we got definitely infantry play by Amaterasu. Hades need to get anti-infantry play, so Toxdays and High Pass is probably a good call. Though he did not go for Ares, which both buffs up both those units.
Έτοιμος.
Aphrodite's queued on up, good for favor generation, and of course a decent myth unit with the Nemean Lion. But I think overall Apollo would be better to improve all range unit damage. And the looks like the Shade can be knocked back. I don't think I've ever seen the Shade knocked back. Maybe I have. You have some Yumi Horse Archers being put on the field. Shade gets shanked. One of those guys now Shade Slayer. Toxdays and Hoplites push forward. We'll find the Raiju. Let's see, if I were to sum up a lot of Japanese myth units, they put a lot of animals with multiple tails. Greeks, they combine multiple animals. Egyptians, they put a human face on everything. Chinese just makes everything dragon. Norses... What humanoid can they create a myth unit? There's a pattern of a lot of these myth units based on the civilizations. Do have now the Hanyan Mask gives increased hit points to infantry. Already has this one there. Infantry is still a little bit of way. Nice little stun. It says stun, but it's clearly a knockback. Which also means they can't do anything, because they're flying in the air. Let's just say I'm not very good at doing something when flying through the air. I don't think these guys will be good at that either. Arcos being eaten, some exotic cows.
Πρόσεχε.
More Yumi archers being employed in the field. Peltas would be a good counter, so would put Dromos. When it comes to Yumi horse archers, they do 10 damage. Do cost 3 population, costing 120 looks like. See right now, medium horse archer 10 damage, copper upgrades. Toxates have less than 100 health. They have less damage. They are heavy at the moment. Copper upgrades. But of course, they're far cheaper and cost 1 population points. So I think, in short, 2 Yumi horse archers it will be inferior to 3 Toxates based on my offhand math. The Toxates should be adequate enough counter. Of course, that's with my offhand math. We do have now a shinobi here. We got the castle not being deployed in the field. Heavy infantry, more Nemean lions to scream at his opponent's faces. A lot of samurais. We also got now the siege crossbow, the... I'm just gonna call it a scorpion. Oyumi. Oyumi. Yumi. I'm guessing the O character means large. Definitely shares the same name scheme. Oh, we got the Nemean upgrades there. We've got Nemean Rexes. Now their stuns are even more effective. Now they truly embody the elements of a... Oh, there's Thunder Disperser. And blue has no heroes at the moment, so these Nemean lines should be particularly effective. Restoration summoned here as well. This feels like something great for red. But the Thunder Disperser can cause issue. Curse got summoned somewhere. Where? I'm not sure. I just don't see the piggies. Oh, the pigs are there. Maybe Thunderburst killed them off. I have no idea. Chain stuns there, being very effective. Well, I thought Apollo would be better, but the Nemean line's doing quite good work since his opponent has not put on heroes. Speaking of heroes, I see about 5 of them in the build queue. Yeah. Nemean lions, like any good cat, just screams at the opponent's faces. Eight radius is quite large, so let's do 10 damage while at it. Yeah, the chain stuns are being oh so good. They have movement speed of 4.8. Those horse rushers generally have movement speed of 5, so they do move slightly faster, but not fast enough. Castle will be going down. Petropol's not blowing the field. Over here, we've got more blue forces here, including a number of shoguns, not shoguns, daimyos. So Nemean lions may not want to enter this conflict, or at least send along the flank, hit the back line. Against all of these cavalry units and heroes, they probably won't avoid that. Cavalry heroes, they should be countered by bonus counter cavalry damage. They're just shinking that gate there. We do now have heavy course activated there. Right now providing 2.5 gold per second. Very nice to have. Equivalent to what, 5 villagers? No, wrong Age of Empires game. Yeah, equivalent to about 3 villagers worth of gold income, which is nice and free. Taxei is just firing away in the back line, providing excellent DPS, not to worry about getting them into melee range. More Taxeis, more Peltas. Bronze shields. Petropol just cleaning some various structures in the back line. These heroes are falling on back entirely. He's pretty close to another restoration. I can see that being deployed out relatively soon. More Yumi horse archers now being deployed on the field. Fortress here. Here's something. Oh, there we go. That's what I'm hearing. Those units got ripped apart. Yumi horse archers have pretty low armor. Got Shinobi in the field, which are anti-range units. But do they have high range armor to go along with that? Let's see, there's a Shinobi here. Yeah, they do have high range armor like Huskarls and Destroyers. Yes, you can't use destroyers against archers. If they have high enough pierce armor, they are counter the archers. May not be designed for it, but they sort of are designed for it. We have now some more Naginata Riders, a good item to help counter these ranged units. More Toxays, more Peltas, we got Fortified Town Center. Comes the next age up. I can see either of these gods being useful for Ares. Got Plenty Vaults, Colossus, better of his unique crossbowman, cheaper armor attacks versus increased range damage for all ranged units by, and of course bonus damage for your heroes, which in this case would be important. In this case as well, this will also provide bonus damage for Smith units. Earthquake and excellent god power as well. For Amaterasu, we do have. Oh, we've got a big engagement coming on up, so worry about that later. He is going for Hepatus. Another Thunderous Burst now summoned. We may see a Restoration. Hades is enough for a Restoration, but he may see up his favor for another Plenty Vault. Thunderous Burst is a very powerful god power. Does a lot of damage and lasts a very, very long time. Now the sentinels there around this town center. Bunch of balls we picked on off. More villagers, more hoplites, Chiron, Achilles, and Ajax. Looks like Blue's going to cover the next major god again, but that's not going to be the case. Shinobi here to help with the siege damage. Well, they do have torches like Age of Empires 3. He is aging up to Taki Mika Zuchi. I butchered that name well enough. I wonder if they ever improved the visual of his god power. Last time I checked, it was pretty ugly and stupid. Though, at least it does fit better than Black Ops 7. Having a giant sword fall from the sky. Why can't I make that comparison? Granted, I haven't played any Call of Duty games, Call of Duty 3. But still.
Etimos.
The cavalry push way forward. Number of hoppers here. Restoration summon. Though it does not save the sentinel there. Pretty squishy though. The 250 health is not much. More reinforcements being summoned. He has almost enough favor for more restoration. Couple farms you can clean them up by the splash damage or piercing damage of the Oyumi. Here's like Chiron needs to start focusing on some of those occasional myth units, but it looks like they're all down for the moment. A couple shades glow on the field. Get a little extra free mass. Age up's almost complete. Give access to Asura. Just need to take a look at it a little bit later. Naginata Riders and Samurai Retreat forward, almost at Elite or Champion. Always get the names mixed on up. I wonder, Divine Slash. I wonder if they improved the visual quality of this. It could be overkill on the small army, but definitely feeling disorganized. Another round of curse there. Kyra needs to target that Raiju as soon as he can. There's a champion, there's a Sura, there's the samurai sword. Okay, they did improve a little bit, now has some lightning effects, because beforehand it didn't. It sort of just stays there now. Beforehand it sort of just teleported up here when it was done. Okay, they did improve it a little bit. To the point where it's acceptable rather than unacceptable. After this, now blowing a field. Yeah, Sora is taking a bit of damage now. Sora has only 1,000 health. Not too high for a lot of age for myth units, honestly. Does have a decent amount of damage and AoE though. It's definitely a DPS H4 unit. These piggies can wee all the way to their new home. It's a samurai here. Donkey Caravan's pulling field. His age up is almost complete. He's not back in the game just yet. Going for a large number of pelt tasks, but these are samurai. He needs stock today's. Blues pushing forward, also trying to obtain the town center there. For various reasons here, including boiling oil. Goes for the Plenty Vault. The sword does have a bit of crush damage to it, but itself is almost down. It has been taken out. We've got another Asura now floating field. Of course, you will get that for free back.
Πρόσταγμα.
Colossus floating in the field. Colossus, of course, in between combat can eat trees and gold in order to get some health regen. Health has some good numbers, taking out the Yumi archers. First, he is not floating in the field. He may want to be tasked to that myth unit and turn to stone. He did. Got a good amount of damage there, and we'll finish him off. Do now have the burning malevolence increase or decrease attack interval by 25%, making these Asura attack much faster, making them even more DPS units. Fortified town center here with some farms. Colossus does have good crush damage. Champion infantry for red. Petripole is here, engaging this fortified town center. It's now getting repaired on up. I passed this shanking those villagers though. Now another riders intercepting. This town, fortified towns is going down. 80 starting to stabilize. Go for our large pile of upgrades. Olympian weapon should be pretty useful for his unique crossman, help deal with all the myth units that this one will get regenerated for free. I was getting at the point maybe need to apply another one of these shrines to improve the production queue of these myth units. I'm pretty sure it gets split apart. I know they don't stack and through some myth units, but I'm pretty sure it is able to be split apart, which would be very nice right now. Does turn the exotic doggo to stone. Red started making a pretty good counter attack. Various defense structures up there. Hoplite's in good numbers. Champion still pretty far away. Or should I say elite status?
Πρόσταγμα.
The Colossus does go down, removing quite a bit of siege force there. This fortress of his castle is almost knocked out as well. His unique crossman will help out with that if he ever deploys any of them out. Got some more Petripolis, more Heliopoli being pulled on the field. Reds has a pretty small force advance by 4, 94 versus 37 military units on the field. 6,000 funds versus 1,800. The Asura is still taking time to redeploy on the field. More champion samurai and Yumi horse archers. Hoplites engaging these villagers. More hoplites and shades push way forward and engage. Another divine shield onto one of these daimyo. More champion Yumi horse archers being pulled in the field. They don't do bonus damage versus infantry or melee infantry like chariot archers, but they are probably just generally a little bit cheaper if I remember correctly, and have much higher attack speed. Perseus and Chiron now being pulled in the field. Architects is being researched as well. Going for some of his unique crossbow. They have excellent range, so they're able to outrange the markers by a very large margin. I think they do have less DPS than top stays, but they have excellent infrastructure damage, like about times 23. And a bit of bonus damage versus myth units can always be quite nice. Yumi horse archers being picked off by the fortress. A couple more forward stables there, going for some Hippus. They are Dark Age Hippus, that's a bit of a problem. Not even medium Hippus. Hope he actually researched medium Hippus now. His production queue is just left over, so he does. Sir, push way forward. His force is not much larger. It's getting that tug of war state where if you start pushing towards your opponent's base, you just sort of start slowing down your advance. Hades could start eyeing for another Plenty Vault. Sir over here. Gastro Air-Tier Tauros does have times 50 damage multiplier versus mid units, very nice. The damage DPS is a little bit low, 11. But they have 24 range. Another round of Sentinels. What I always say is an anti-raiding tool, so this may not be great. Though some units are being sort of stringed on in. Heavy Hippus not pulling the field. It's really hard to say. Red doesn't have too much military force in the field. Blue's trying to get a bit of army going. Got some heavy Heliopoli now being employed in the field. Oh, got some drop relics here. Which that reduces the cost of army tax, which in theory then these are not being discounted. Heavy horse archers pushing forward. Got a large pile of dead caribou here, reindeer. Problem is, Yumi horse archers, like I said, have no inherent armor and getting hit by the guard towers, fully upgraded guard towers, along with the fortress, who may have, do have the increased capability. Got sheeping horses now being researched. I think Hippus overall will counter the horse archers since they do bonus damage versus range, but Pajomas will counter them even further. And his opponent is going for some Naginata Rise as well, so maybe some Pajomas wouldn't be half bad. He has low in food and gold. Need more donkey caravans, though it looks like they stopped their queue. More Naginata Riders, more samurai, more Oyumis. Chiron being Ajax being summoned there. A couple sentinels in the back line. I'm just going to assume all the gold in the map has been cleaned on up. No, actually blue has still gold right here, as was right here. No Miko though. Oh no, this one is being powered by the Miko, so this may be one reason why this gold pause is lasting for so long. And there's actually gold here as well that Red's cleaning on up. Red has plenty of wood and food, needs more gold. Blue right now is actually having trouble with food, has plenty of wood and gold, so probably should go for more range units, I guess. Siege weapons wouldn't be half bad as well. We do have now some castles being blown out on the flank. Going for more of the crossbowmen, hippos, hoplites, peltas, and donkeys. Donkeys do cost food and wood. More Yumi horse archers and more Asuras being resummoned. Red's gonna get cleaned up here. 27 military units versus 126. He has no real production queue going. He just needs to start regrouping an army back here. It's getting pretty close to another plenty vault. I think Red is slowly starting to lose this. Going for some Padromos. Padromos do find a bit of a flank there. Another watchtower. Some reinforcements here, getting some free shots on in. Oh, curse there. Town center does not go down. Oh, does go down there. The Petropols managed to get one last volley. Those forces are on defense right now. Red's just hanging on by a thread. More donkeys, providing 53 gold. Got now the conscription of cavalry. Blue has a mass production queue in store. Red does not, not to mention lacking the army itself. Right now the Bushido tier is still at tier 4. Chiron does go down there. Red's trying to get more Hippos and Padromos. Achilles taking out some of the old Yumis. Very nice. Samurai Patrol 4 trying to go for Watchtower here. 80s still lacking gold. Sort of running low on food or wood as well. Plenty of food. And ace off 1,000 food. Achilles does go down there. High passes engages of samurai. There's also a ninja there. Padromos flank around hitting some of the samurai. Then you hit some of the Yumi horse archers. More Hippos and Padromos on the flank. More flanking Padromos here. We've got an enemy line build queue. I really think we should go for another 20 volt. Another Asura. Once Red's trading line goes down, it's probably game over. He has a number of idle villagers here. Enemy line going on down. Got a large number of the Onmayo, I don't know how to pronounce them. Anti-building hero. Does got one of them there. Perseus does go down. And this serve was turned to stone. Restoration summon.
Λέγε.
Some donkey caravans have been pulled off the line, or disrupted, I should say. Chiron's been resummoned. Yumi archers and samurai push way forward. The Sentinel's not going to be super great at this moment. If you can see, they do X amount of crush damage and a little bit of divine and AoE damage. Oh, AoE damage is pretty nice there. Gotta fall back now. That AoE damage should be pretty nice dealing with units, though damage output's low. After all, it's 5.6 divine damage. I don't know how big that is in numbers. It is 3 population. Only costs gold. Doesn't say range or infantry or siege weapon. So it's just classified as hero. But I actually really haven't seen too many of these guys deploy in the field, so it's nice to see them for a change. They don't move all too quickly. Same movement speed as Villager and Miko. Agent counts them now. They do have excellent crush damage. Another round of Sentinels. Getting a bit of splash damage as well. Sir here. Donkey caravans. Fountain does go down. Donkey caravans going down. Red Soul only has one plenty bulk. This one has a large wave of samurai and Yumi horse archers there. This one's only going for donkey caravans and a pitiful amount of units. So this game's pretty much over. Yep, he had a good opportunity to come back, but I think he just didn't get enough gold. And his production queue was not just being maxed out. He had trouble redeploying out an army. Another Plenty Vault could be nice, but Plenty Vault only provides so much gold per minute. 4. Which is nice, but not a perfect amount. His issue was greater than 4 gold per minute. Oh, that Townsend's going down. Looks like Amaterasu does get her champion samurai on the field. But yeah, these heroes can also heal stuff. Castle will take a bit of damage. I really think Blue should have really kept on in this area. Now Red's recovered, rebuilding, repairing the town center. Red should really sell off about 3,000 food and maybe 1,000 wood. Restoration there. Trying to keep his high pastus healthy. But there's way too much here. I mentioned another battle tier of the champion, which does what again? Elite. 2 training. I'm not so sure what the champion status exactly does. I think just increase health and damage even further. So these guys are tier H5 infantry. Which is going to be a trouble to deal with. Fox says is probably his best choice. I can build more watchtowers there. I don't think watchtowers in this case would be great. I can understand going for watchtowers and fortresses here to go along with those extra defenses, but right there, not great. We do got some deer caravans being pulled in the field. Another castle here. Blue's trying to go for this town center. Red's starting to actually get maxed out population at the moment. No draft horses on these Oyumis yet. So missing out 50% of their damage. Howdy. Towns that are being rebuilt. Over here we do have hoplites engaging some deer caravans.
Λέγε.
Samurai push way forward, town or fortress trying to be re-established, but that can easily go on down. Blue's leads to, or Red's doing a good job at least denying his opponent any trade caravans, while he's making his donkey caravans quite nicely. Got more plus in the build here, we also got more crossbowmen. He doesn't really have anything to stop these samurai. 1 HP for second health regen. Haiti has right now 35 villagers on to favor. I suppose with enough plenty volts he can simply get enough economy that way, but he only has still the one. He is actually going for a gold Colossus upgrade. Samurai pushing the way forward, taking out some donkey caravans. Silver Colossus engaging the castle. Silver Colossus just gets more health. This increases the hit points to Colossus even further and increase their melee armor. Now the gold Colossus is taking it out. These are all villagers trying to shank the Colossus. Samurai slowly being picked off by the Hippus. And it looks like these individual samurai are being picked off by the watchtowers. Red is holding on, and Red's actually got a decent gold stockpile now. Needs to get more production queue going for more hoplites. Against the Human Archers, that does make sense. Towns are now being rebuilt. Going for more Colossus. Now he has full gold Colossus. As opposed to the silver or bronze. Number of these donkey caravans go on down quite quickly. Just having these horse archers just being this general reason is going to cause so many issues. Hippus coming to respawn, takes some damage there. They're being picked off because they're coming in small numbers. A large number of these donkey caravans are very wounded. It looks like these horse archers will be going on down. Large number of these donkey caravans are just fractional of health. Gold Colossus, 60, 75 armor with over 2,000 HP. Remember as well, Hades improved hit points of Mythimius by 50% as well, so the Colossus has probably well over 100% increased hit points. Asura now engaging. The Colossus will defeat the Asura in 1v1 in combat, has 1,000 health, they have both 30 damage. The Colossus has faster attack speed as well. The Gold Colossus does go down. Achilles around the flank. Asura goes down. I wonder how many myth units he has back at the that shrine there. Gold Colossus advancing way forward. Try and engage the town center. And right now, Amaterasu is actually running low on gold, since Hades did a good job countering the trade caravans, who are currently collecting 98. Holy crap. Looks like Amaterasu has a pretty good trade path for her deer caravans. Of course, she does have this gold generation, which is currently equal to a Plenty Vault, or slightly greater. But an extra Plenty Vault would just make it far superior, not to mention provides other income as well. Hades does have a stockpile of resources. He could actually go for a Titan Gate right now, if my math is incorrect. 41 villagers on to favor. I think he's just going to mass Gold Colossus. I mean, a whole swarm of Gold Colossus is going to be hard to defeat. Heroes be the way to do it. I do think some less damage for his heroes, but they are tanky. Hoplites push way forward as well. Might as well Gold Colossus can eat trees. Another Gold Colossus here, so we've got 4 Gold Colossus region. They only take 4 population as well. Not too terribly expensive population. In Gold Edition, they were 5 population. This guy's crush damage will actually be useful versus the Colossus. They have only 80% crush armor. Another Gold Colossus summon. Got a Daimyo in the mix here as well. Two more Gold Colossus build queues, going for some of his unique crossbowmen. Overall, I think regular Taxi is probably best, so. Hippus advancing. Hippus won't be half bad. Prodromos would probably be even better against the Daimyos as well to help out the Colossus. Toxays in general, or Hoplites in general, would be not bad. Hippus can be nice. The Colossus is actually pushing the way forward, making great headway. We've got this town center destroyed, now being reclaimed by red. Heliopoli being shanked by some laborers. Gold Colossus takes out another castle. Three of the Gold Colossus almost down. Oh, Perseus does turn the Asura to stone, immediately killing it off. That is a massive pick there. Though even turns stone, his soul can still be revived. More heroes being summoned out by the Japanese player, Amaterasu. Another castle going up. That's Colossus just start going towards it. Got some gouge the crossbowman. Thus the castle will be destroyed before it gets fully built. More Colossus here, more forces going on up. And there's a lot of Onimusha now floating in the field. The Colossus may want to be toned down a little bit, save the favor for the Plenty Vault. Keep on harping that. Somehow there's now less wood than gold. 3 villagers on wood. And Plenty Vault's well set up the wood collection. But really should start toning down the Colossus production. You see all these heroes in the field. Onimusha, of course, are infantry units, so they are accounted by Toxays and Hypastus. Big line of deer caravans. Right now, Blue's actually running low on food and gold. The longer the game goes on, the worse off Blue actually will be. Petrobolos push way forward. More samurai, more Yumi archers. More Hypasus, Toxates, and Hippus. Particularly Hippus. Some of the unique crossbones, some of the Petrobolos. And of course more Colossus. Fortress under fire. Also have trouble countering it. And this guy actually won't do super high damage versus the Colossus. Colossus going straight for the castles. Colossus against Yumi Horse Archers. Ajax goes on down with the long of Achilles. Let's go for this Townsend now. Both get destroyed by some of the siege weapons. Ooh, actually this is going to be very important. Having the Petrobolos take out the market here will do some good work. Hippus managed to collect engage on the Yumi Horse Archers. And Hoplites to surround them as well, taking those forces out. So got these guys in a bit of splash damage versus all of them. Petrobolos took out one of the markets, the other one needs to be taken out. This is a high priority target. Taking on that secondary market now. A tertiary, core tertiary market now being put on the field. Relic's still there. Probably quickly grab them. Petrobolos will be going down to the samurai. The market does stay up. More Toxates, Petrobolos, and Colossus. Close to pop cap. Might as well get more Petro going. Go for the quadruple heroes. Mikos, or nope, not the Mikos, the Onomoji, getting some good healing there. Colossus under massive fire. Another Colossus summoned here. That's the last of Colossus. Yumi Archers being picked off by all the various defenses. Towns are not being built. Got a line of villagers here in line. Extra markets now being utilized. Colossus does go down. Hippus, Hades, or Shades, and Hypasus push forward. Hoplites engaging the Yumi Horse Archer. And we do now have draft forces being researched. Good number of samurai on the field, as well as these heroic siege weapons, heroic siege peoples. Sort of reminds me of Exorcists. The more I look at them, the Japanese Exorcists. Oh well. Don't know all the mythology at the top of my head. Taking out this Townsend would be nice at disrupting the trade. We'll have to take the less effective trade path. Fortress Kuka goes on down there. Some Hippus, Poplites push forward. There's also Peltas. These guys are not classified as ranged according to this, so they have not received bonus damage from Peltas. It's probably a good idea not to go too many Peltas, though they would still be good versus the Yumi Horse Archers. Another Colossus there, two more Colossus, more Petrobolos. Not getting a large military force field, but he's at pop cap. It must be all the civilians. He probably has 60 donkey caravans, 100 villagers, so... While Blue only has 66 villagers, and probably... Actually, the deer caravans no longer market. We got the market number 5, reducing the trade down to 22. Blue has a massive stockpile of gold, plenty of food, and owl of wood. So the Yumi Horse Archers, this is the last he's going to get of them. And maybe actually lack of trees on the map as well. Yeah, just straggler trees here and there. There's a deposit of trees. But trees are actually becoming rare resources now. And now the Colossus now engaging this town center.
Πρόσταγμα.
Golden Age tier, or Bushido tier 5 still being obtained. It's pretty far away still. It is not meant something to be obtained readily. Townsend does go down. Health. Deer caravans down to 3 gold. Amaterasu has plenty gold in stockpile. Biggest problem is actually the lack of population space. It is a big problem right now for blue. Fortress there to cause more issues. It sounds like it's not being obtained. Got siege weapons along the flank, just causing issues. Oh, got a pair of barracks here. Villagers shanking the barracks. So we're taking out the fortress here.
Λέγε.
Boss is being picked apart. The deer caravans actually getting to the point there's so many there they're getting bugged out. I think. Or no, they just... I don't know what's going on with them. Siege crossbow is a bit more effective versus the Petrobolos. Petrobolos are just really just anti-structure. They're probably the weakest of all the range siege weapons, the least useful one. After all, siege, the Egyptian catapults are great versus other siege weapons, as well as buildings. Ballista are actually pretty good. The Norse ballista are actually pretty good versus infantry. Fire siphon. I don't remember what's the real good part about fire siphons. I think they're a bit more durable. And blue has actually resigned. An excellent comeback there by Hades. I thought he was done for multiple times. Is Angry saying, "Thank you for watching," and on to the next replay. I do need to use the restroom, so please give me one moment. My apologies, I am back. Probably time for one more replay tonight, particularly if it's a good one like that one. Nope. Try to find at least above average. Nope. Let's see. Red Baron, I think I recognize that name. Yes, as a World War II or World War I pilot. Anything else on top here stands out? Don't see anything. Let's go down the list. Try to find something at least 1200. We could add that person. See if we can't find anything a little better. Here we go. That's probably a good one. 30 minutes. Anything that screams out to me is good. Let's do this one. Greetings everyone, and great here for another Age of Age Mythology replay as well. On top left side as Blue Odin, we have Kenar Mako. Spawn bottom right side as the Peach. Thor, we have winter. God, it took me a moment to figure out what color that was. Or was it apricot? Fruity. Either way, it comes to the mage gods. Odin's, of course, the Great Hall unit focus. Dwarves and gatherers hunt 10% faster, get additional favor, a little bit of health regen to help between combat, and 2 Raven Scouts. Of course, he does have an upgrade here to improve the Ulfsar speed, and of course, give him a bit of bonus damage versus myth units, making it a little bit more effective there. Thor is a focus on dwarves and armory. Starve dwarves and other gatherers. Dwarves cost less gold. Gather food and wood nearly as fast as gatherers. Not as fast, but getting pretty close. But they still retain the good gold mining collection. Dwarven armors can be built and researched in any age. Armory upgrades cost less. Free dwarves per dwarven armory. Very nice there. And can research 3 additional dwarven upgrades. And of course, his unique upgrade increases Herseer's damage and favor generation. Let's see, Odin's, of course, the Great Hall unit, so let's talk about how Thor could counter it. He could go for a Foresight, give him access to increase hack armor for his Erdmen, as well as the Berserks, or the Ulfsarks. This increases infantry and hero speed as well, improving that. And you got more trolls to troll your opponent. Healing Spring is a good god power for defensive reasons, to help rejuvenate in between fights. Forest Fire is an okay god power, situational at best. Valkyrie is of course a good mounted healer. And of course you can increase your Valkyries and cavalry hit points of speed with this upgrade, and your heroes hit points by 10% and enable the goatee early. I think Foresight would be better for Thor to help fight against the cavalry focus that Odin would probably go for. But that's not something he will go for. Odin of course can go for Freyja since he's more focused on heroes and cavalry. I think Freyja would be a pretty clear option for him. But of course, Heimdall. Heimdall has a very good god power for the 3 minor gods, or 4 minor gods for the Norse. Undermine is an excellent Age 2 god power. Einherjar is a bit of a force multiplier, able to buff nearby units. But since Age 2 is not very exactly healthy. And of course the other upgrades here, improve hit sentry hit points, not great. Wall hit points, that's okay. This stuff is okay. And Einherjar improves stuff, which is okay. And for better training and research rate. It's not really that important. Until the very late game. So probably Freyja versus Foresight if I has a guess. When it comes to relics on the map, we could see Ori's hunting bow. Villagers gather from hunted animals faster by 5%, not 10%. Tail of Feathers of Heaven. Infantry attacks ignite enemies, dealing damage over time, so you get a bit of bleed damage. Seeing how bad poison and bleed damage is, this is even weaker than all of that, so this is probably not very useful whatsoever. I have no faith in damage over time effects. Hermes Winged Sandals improve hero speed by 5%, which is nice. And Text of Immonet. Buildings are constructed 10% faster. Not that important either. So the only thing that's worth a damn is probably Hermes Winged Sandals and the hunting bow. But even then, it feels like all the relics this game are weak. We do actually have Heimdall being queued on up for Odin, so he's going for something a little bit different. Thor is still going for his copper upgrades. Going to fast forward through the economic phase. First series being queued on up for Odin as well. So has access to the very fine hunt. And there's a good number of caribou here, so maybe doing that to age 2. It says it is more effective per age. I thought caribou were actually smaller. Caribou actually are pretty small in real life. And Hari Patrol Forward has not super fast movement speed. 15 damage, 15 crush. Some amount of health. Actually pretty good armor rate. So health is a little bit below, but armor is actually fairly high. Valkyrie here, in comparison, has more health, but less armor. So her 14 damage being reduced by 70% will be approximately 4, but times a 3 multiplier, so roughly 12 damage per strike against Nahari. Well, in comparison, the Hari only has 40% reduction, so his damage approximately 9 times 2, so it'd be 18. And of course has a higher attack speed while at it. No, I'm sort of surprised. Maybe Nahari do need a little bit of buff. I think the health may be a little bit too low or something. Maybe up to 300. Because it feels like compared to the Valkyrie, which has 375 health, which is actually a very good amount of health. Thor's aged on up, of course, to Freyja, which is also the option I was not expecting. So I guess it was wrong both times. Toots his horn. Nope, does not toot his horn. He canceled the toot. And his extra armor did come in handy. Looks like he took about 25 damage across 2 hits. So she probably did 12.5 damage. In return, the Valkyrie did take quite a bit of beating there. The armor did come in handy for the Inhari there. Nope, got a very fine hunt. I'm guessing around here. More units being plotted by Thor, so has holding on the Dwarven Mine. And Hari getting some good damage on the Valkyrie. Of course, this is Norse versus Norse, not like you can raid the villagers building town center. First here, raiding cavalry and Ulsark here. Triple toots his horn there, only gets 1 Herseers.
Yo.
So we now got 2 townships for Odin. For his next age up, we go for Skadi or Njord. Rocky Woods is a bit of a situational god power. You get a lot of free but cheap siege weapons. Mountain Giant, another siege weapon. Increased gaming rating cavalry, a bit of divine damage, and of course gold upon rating, which is nice to have. And of course, you're always getting increased hit points and damage versus myth units. This is more likely the upgrade for a cavalry focus, but he did not go for Freyja, so I'm not sure. He may be going for Scaldi instead. We give access to Frost God Power, pretty good stasis ability. Frost Giant, Huntress Axe to help with the throwing axemen. And Winter Harvest is a pretty good economic upgrade. Plus 20% collection rate for farms, not to mention 10% for all other food sources. That's pretty good. So I'm not sure what Odin's going to be eyeing. For Thor, he can go for Bragi and Skadi. Bragi, of course, does provide fleeing weapons and excellent god power. Battle Boar, a good frontline melee unit. Myth unit. Berserks can increase hit points and favor upon death. Myth unit human speed and better counter damage. If Odin was going for more cavalry focus, Swaneray Bragi would probably be a good option, but I don't know what Odin's going for. Maybe Odin is literally going for the not cavalry focus, just to throw off the counter game that Thor may be trying to go for. That could be his reason. If you think your opponent's going to counter you, just don't deploy the unit that's going to be countered. Unit infantry now being researched. It may be a little bit too early. I don't think there's enough military units to really warrant it. It was not gone for medium just yet. Caribou being obtained, medium rare. Both players now have secondary town center now. Raven does spot this deposit there. Actually, nope, does not spot those units. I always forget how little vision actually Raven provides. It's a free scout, don't expect too much. We do have actually scouting deployed field, so Odin's going for the opposite I would expect, which is a strategy. Let's see how well it pays out. In this case, we just give ourselves a bit of a refresher. Gives you the throwing axeman upgrade and better food collection research, which is pretty nice. Throwing axeman is probably be a good idea versus in Norse mirror matchups, as almost all the infantry is infantry. If that makes any poor sense. All the not cavalry units are infantry, barring the Godi. So 100 stacks is going to be a good call. Thor probably should go for Scotty as well, but Braggy's also a good option. Flaming weapons probably better god power than Frost, but Frost can be very nice. You sort of, there's a lot of use you can get out of Frost. If you can somehow lock down half your opponent's army of Frost, that means you can pick off the other half without any contention. And he's going for Scotty as well. He could have also gone for, no wait, he couldn't go for New York for cavalry upgrades. He doesn't have access to that. So double Scotty. You are seeing the Rigasthula, I've pronounced that. Just try some work rate for all your buildings, which is nice. But not critical unless the very late game we're trying to mass up units. It's probably a good upgrade for the very, very late game. Basic line of stone walls there. He could eye for some early trade caravans. Though his last town center is way down here. This one's not a great path. Yeah, it's probably better to actually have his markers over here and go for this town center. When it comes to Kumquat, we do have... His town center is actually not very well placed as well. Actually, no, this one's in a pretty good corner, so his markers down the corner will actually be very good. More walls going on up. And we actually do have the stone walls, at least the walls identify as stone walls research. Forward hill fort there, some forward battery rams could be quite nice to help break down these walls. He only has wooden walls. Goes from, this actually is quite a bit of health difference. Goes from 600 health, right now this is at 1400, nearly doubled. Applied upgrades. Ah, safeguard's actually being useful here. Sometimes do have to eat a little bit of crow, or maybe raven. And Odin still has access to the very powerful god power of Undermine. It will instantly kill walls and towers. And of course, that is good against other buildings. Forest fire there to break and make an opening. I'm going to mention there's also this opening. Those backing on up. I heard some heroes. Some Jarls before. There are heavy Jarls. War Throwing Axemen, Thundering Hoods, Winter Harvest. Finding some villagers here, but got some Ulfsarks engaging. I wonder if you promoted some villagers to that. Frost Summon. On top of those villagers, when the Jarls escape, Woodline probably the best target. Of course, but not his season, doesn't matter. Trying to figure out where the rest of Blue's army. Blue only has 53 units in the field, so it doesn't have much of an army. This roughly has the army in the region. 4 Hersiers, 1 Frost Giant, 1 Anhari, 3 Allsarks, and 4 Throwing Axemen. Nothing too significant. This is an army, and the questionable orange color is still has access to Frost as opposed to Dwarven Mine. For a pair of long houses here. More throwing axemen, more Jarls. Jarls overall be a good call. Be a good counter to the throwing axemen. Or just not be countered by throwing axemen. Another frost has been summoned here. Let's go be using that time to take on this town center. We got some portal battering rams mixed on in. Frost Shines do have a bit of crush damage to him. Reinforcing Jarls, hitting the heavy raiding cavalry. Town center does go down. Got some old Starks there. May have been promoted from villagers, not sure. Has some portable battering rams. Frost will last for another 20 seconds. Throwing axemen, max population cap from blue. And those like these are cavalry falling back. More all Starks there. Blue's not going for another replacing his town center. Blue has 64. Both players have 64 villagers in the field. Though Blue has no protection queue of villagers at the moment. Red's even taking time to steal his opponent's food deposits. Including these guys up here behind his walls. More Ulf Sarks and throwing axemen being queued on up for apricot flavored. Throwing axemen here, some Ulf Sarks, Herseer, a whole bunch of something. And we do also have the Ha Mask being pulled on the field. These units are advancing. If you kill off this guy, he can build his own town center. Would that be a good idea? Probably not. Oh, looks like he deletes the longhouse there.
Yow.
These forces push way forward, hitting the temple as well. Good number of Erdmen and Ulf Sarks being queued up for blue. Town set up here is being rebuilt. A villager queue has been restored. Blue right now has plenty of wood, some food and gold to work with. The other player has plenty of food and wood to work with. Not too much gold, but enough to work around. Oh, it looks like Blue managed to grab every single relic. That's actually quite impressive. Even though all the relics are not great, as we discussed earlier. Or at least as I proclaimed earlier. I saw something that bleeding effect, like almost a fire effect from those throwing axemen. Just got a bit confused by that. Rebuilt the temple there. No Herseer in the region though to pick up those relics. He got some Goaty on the build queue though. The turkey-shaped relics now being deposited into the temple. Looks like both players are sharing this gold deposit. This player can easily make that not the case. Blue's going to lose a significant amount of villagers. This could be game losing. This many villagers going down. Though this will allow Blue's army to advance forward unimpeded and get a lot of free damage in, but it'll be sacrificing a lot. But his opponent does fuse Frost on that said army as well, allowing the villagers to be picked off freely. They will of course receive a bit of health regen while in this stasis state. And Blue has enough for his own Frost, so You can frost his opponent, allow it to escape, or stick around. He has that option. Blue right now has 56 villagers versus 83. One thing that Blue could do is stasis half the army, because that's going to be very easy to do, and let the other half get picked off. Probably stasis this half and then pick off this one. Is that what I'm going to do? Nope, he does not do. He does do that. Oh, and it looks like a lot of these guys actually did get hit. I always forget how large that radius is. You guys need to target a bit more down here. Oh, he's going to build some walls there. His villagers trying to get on through to that gold deposit. The Ox Guard does get the gate there. He retasks the civilians to it. He's trying to wall in those forces as well. Oh boy, I'm getting hit by some pretty sizable lag spikes. Four, 3, 2, 1. Stop building. Traps the army there. He has some walls to work around with his ranged units. There's a good number of raiding cavalry to stop those ranged units from existing. I think Blue's army will come out ahead. Blue's able to collect enough gold. Blue looks like will win the fight, but won't be a perfect win. A number of villagers advance the way forward for some other reason. Ballistics now being researched by Blue. Which, I don't know why would you go for ballistics when you have the winter, the Huntress Axe. Does this improve your tracking rate to 99? This will, of course, improve the tracking rate quite a bit, but I suppose it's meant for the goatee. Like, you don't really need, now think about it, you don't really need ballistics when you have the Huntress Axe, primarily. The goatee's more meant to be a counter myth unit. It doesn't, and using these big fights, you're not really missing. So I don't think that upgrade was actually really necessary. He's going for a large number of the Jarls and raiding cavalry. He has, of course, the heavy Jarls and raiding cavalry. Bronze upgrades being researched by Blue. You don't really need the pierce armor. You can skip out the bronze shields as well as the iron shields. This one is going for iron weapons. Wait. Oh yeah, you can get them in age earlier, right? I forgot about that part. I'm a bit confused, like, wait, how is he getting iron weapons? It's an age 4 upgrade, but nope, he's Thor. You can get them out in age earlier. We got some levies being researched since he got max up population. That's a good time for it. Definitely compared to our last replay tonight. My voice is starting to go out. 101 civilians. Wonder how that happened. Guess maybe a dwarf and gather got deployed at the same time. Exploit! Sorry. You now have a potential age up of Balder to get access to the Fire Giant as well as Ragnarok. Some of these villagers are a little bit idle there and a little bit dead. Raiding cavalry and Jarls getting some great damage here. Blue's not really properly responding. Does have the gate here to give him some cover. I hear stuff exploding or being stabbed repeatedly by a big pointy stick. More throwing X-Men by Blue. This one is going for good number of cavalry, so it's probably a good idea to slow down the cavalry or throwing X deployment. Erdman, however, still be a good idea. Does take out that villager there, and that villager there. Erdman now being employed in the field in large numbers by Blue. Also for going for crenellation is very nice. Walls do go on down. A good number of Erdmen here. More Jarls, more raiding cavalry, more throwing axemans. Erdmen now engaging. Got some throwing axemen to hit them though. But looks like they're hitting the gate. Dwarven gold mine still available. Keep hold on that.
Yo.
Let's push forward a good number of throwing axemen here. We'll just gently move it over here and let the Erdmen come for our flank. But he does have fighting this amount of cavalry here. The gate has been destroyed. I do have now Tyre being researched. Give access to Fenris, Fimbulwinter and Fenris Wolf Brood.
Kilbuin.
Cavalry being picked apart. Dancing around from throwing axes is not great. And we got all the Erdmen getting a lot of free damage there. More Jarls, more throwing axemen being queued on up with more raiding cavalry. And they now have Balder now being researched. Which of course give access to Ragnarok. One thing I would say before it goes for Ragnarok, make sure he has some ox carts at least to deploy in the field. Those don't get turned to heroes. At least get some economy going. We got some more research here. We got the Dwarven Weapon research line. Oh, thanks to Heimdall, it looks like Baldur is being researched quicker. It looks like the age up will complete at roughly the same time. Blue may be just trying to save up and wait for a Ragnarok to push his opponent. He has a good number of villagers here, so it would be quite significant this direction. Doing some long houses now. Both players now aged on up. Fimbulwinter has been summoned. Exotic Dog goes over here. Some villagers getting picked off over here. Do you have the Fire Giant? A very good myth unit. Champion Infantry now being researched by Blue. Blue's economy is basically at a standstill due to the Fimbulwinter. Just simply hit the town bell everywhere and just wait out the storm. Wait out winter. Towns that are here will be going on down. Big line long houses tend to be queued on up. Ready to rebuild that town center now. Good number of markets there. Looks like he's going to try... It's not a great spot there, but it is a spot. He does have some stone walls here for protection as well. Here's some ox carts. Towns that are rebuilt. At 260, since this one has 4 town centers, while Blue only has the 2. So South does have... How is up to 104 civilians? How is up at 105? That number is creeping out. That must be a bug there. I can understand 101, but how did 105 came about? Let's see, dwarf here. 105 out of 100, so he does have extra ones somehow. Not sure how he managed that. When it comes to these ox caravans, they do use a different build limit. Maybe they should, to balance out the economies. One thing I sort of wish is they make all the civilian units cost 0 population. and then maybe share the same build limit for the caravans and the villagers as a possibility. Yeah, just sort of just suggestions. Can't say how that will turn out though. We got Undermine here. Undermine the infrastructure, the integrity of the hill fort. Rainy Cavalry push way forward. Frost by Blue here, locking down half of South's army. Blue's army needs time to reinforce. He has no reinforcements queued up. Going for some portable battery rams now. He's actually low in gold, which is a bit of a problem. Probably wondering why he's going for Ox Caravans now. His opponent has plenty of resources. He could go for a Titan Gate now. What is it? 800, 800, 800, and then 50, right? Yes. So you can't go for a Titan Gate. He also has the Ox Caravans queued up himself. We've got a large number of Berserks now queued on up. Dennis Wolfbrood got picked off there. Throwing Axeman getting hit quite a bit. Ox Corps providing 44. Then there's Ragnarok. Ragnarok and roll. Let's see, 445. So not too over pop cap. This Ragnarok seemed a little bit more on the desperate side. Does have a number of Ox Caravans. He's actually out of gold. That's probably why he went for Ragnarok. He only has to rely on the Ox Caravans for gold income. Here's Ragnarok, or like Curseirs, but just a little bit weaker actually. Throwing Axeman here. Here's a Ragnarok or classified troops, so throwing Axeman does do bonus damage to them, and they don't provide favor generation like Curseirs. But they are, I believe they are a little bit faster. That could be just because of the relics he has. More villagers being queued on up. He's actually below max population. He's going to run out of steam pretty quickly. His opponent just needs to wait out the storm. You can actually bring in another Frost there to help wait out the storm. His Ox Caravan's currently providing 103. Another Undermine being summoned. You'll miss those walls. You'll hit this watchtower there.
Yo!
Luce has a good army on the field. Going for more throwing Axemans. Mace off a bit of wood. He's also stopped his civilian queue. So he's going all in. Dancing around with throwing Axeman, very nice. Oh, and Blue does back of the game. His opponent did not have any production queue going. He was at pop cap, but still, Blue realized he's just running too much out of steam. This and great saying, thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. As mentioned beforehand, my voice is starting to go out, so that shall be my last replay tonight. So everyone.